Liam Maloney. Lily's name is Lily Starr, and we just spotted something, and it's very interesting to us. There you go. That's a bit spooky, isn't it? Because we are in fact spiritual people. Just because we shout and we use a few expletives when we're angry doesn't mean we're not spiritual. That's a good sign for today, don't you think, Lil? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's here, look, she's crossing the road. Hang on, let me get her.
Oi!
Mumsy! Oh no, we got ya!
Hello, darling.
This is Mumsy. Hang on. Give us a minute. Look, she's jumping in the traffic. But this is Mumsy, a proper campaigner, activist, and fights against all abuse.
That's right, my darling.
Tell them what you're doing here.
I'm doing here against Hollie Greig for Robert Greene, free Robert Greene from Aberdeen. He's in prison for 1 year.
For telling the truth.
For telling the truth, for giving out a leaflet like I am.
Yeah, Robert Greene is in prison because he's tried to expose lawyers, doctors, psychiatrists, all the professionals right across the board up in Scotland, raping Down syndrome and disabled children. And he is in prison. Oi, Salman, you've got to do something. That's the Scottish Prime Minister. You want independence? Oh yeah. What with the kids as well? Love you.
Robert Greene is British. Bring him home.
What are you here for?
I'm here for Hollie Greig.
What are you here for?
Hollie Greig?
What are you here for?
Hollie Greig.
What are you here for?
The Hollie Greig appeal.
What are you here for?
Hollie Greig.
What are you here for?
Hollie.
What are you here for?
Hollie and Robert.
What are you here for?
Hollie Greig.
What are you here for?
To support Hollie Greig.
What are you here for?
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 Hollie Greig.
The injustice that's going on in the world, yeah? How you doing, big man?
Commonly known as Doc.
Come on, girl.
What's up? I should get in big trouble if these photos are right.
Well, I've got to send these on to
How comes you get all the girls?
I don't know. Obviously, I'm old enough.
Brian gets all the girls.
We've got quite a few people.
Right, Brian, let's do a little... What's happening here today, Brian? Just give us a quick interview.
I think this is one of the most important court cases for children in the country.
Absolutely.
Basically, a decision was made in a court that Hollie Greig was not competent. This is after the police originally said that she was competent, and that was recorded in writing. A reliable, competent witness. A judge then ruled she's not competent. The judge had no medical or expert opinion to rely on, and she was not qualified herself.
Because she has Down syndrome. They're saying that she's not competent, even though she was competent.
Well, they're not using any evidence. They're making an arbitrary decision, and of course why they want that decision is they want to undermine her as a credible witness in the horrific child abuse, rape and sexual assault that she suffered.
And who were the perpetrators?
Well, we know the perpetrators were members of the Scottish legal establishment. They included sheriffs, police, social services people. But the key bit is this is the state blatantly attempting to silence this little girl, well, young lady now, by taking her away from her mother.
Brian, tell me about the £13,000 compensation that Hollie received.
Well, the bizarre thing about this story is although the Scottish establishment consistently tried to say there was no abuse, there was no rape, Hollie was awarded criminal injuries of £13,500, and this
For
just...
what?
Well, this is it.
If it never happened, why did they give her £13,000?
Well, it was quite clearly it was a bribe to attempt to bribe her mother from pursuing the case. And of course, what the public also need to know is that this very brave lady, Anne Greig, was put in a psychiatric unit simply because she tried to speak out about what happened to her daughter.
They sectioned her, didn't they?
They sectioned her. Police, social services and a psychiatrist broke into her, or came into her flat. She was forced to the ground, her trousers were pulled down and a needle stuck in her backside, and then she wakes up in a psychiatric unit.
Outrageous.
This is Britain today. David Cameron knows what's going on, Ken Clarke knows what's going on, Eilish Angelini knows what's going on, The state is covering
And
up.
Salmon.
Alex Salmon is the same. These people know what is going on. They are complicit in the abuse of children because our politicians and the Scottish politicians and the judges know this abuse is going on. This is not being done by dirty old men in raincoats at street level. This is being done by people in society. The evidence is there, the witness statements are there. This is one case which is very high profile because of the sheer scale of the cover-up. But you know full well this is happening right the way across the country.
Yeah.
We've had one authority in the last month, and I think it was Yorkshire, if somebody can correct me, saying that 1,000 children had disappeared in care. And we know across the country we're looking at tens of thousands of children.
Well, I've got the
disappearing.
figure of that for you, Brian. Actually, 100,000 children.
Yeah.
These were the figures that I got 3 years ago. 100,000 children go missing in this country every year. In America, 3,500 children are reported missing every single day.
Yeah.
And we are, what we have been doing at Prime Mash Films, Brian, is we want these old institutions excavated as Hope de la Garenne was.
Yes.
Now, what Ken Livingstone done, he shut down a children's home called Shirley Oaks, and it had a covenant put on it to run for 100 years, and it should be remain a children's home. And he had it levelled and built on private homes built on it. And we believe that children were buried there.
Yeah.
They're not. And the big cover-up started in the 70s, Brian.
If the general public want to understand what we're talking about, they just need to ask a simple question. Why has there been a gagging order put on Dunblane? Why has there been a gagging order put on Operation Orr when the police started to expose what was happening?
Yeah.
But the most exciting thing I can say to you today is the number of police whistleblowers that are coming forward and talking about what is happening, and the fact that when they expose high-level child abuse, their investigations are covered up by senior police officers.
Yes.
Policemen are coming forward from the Met, they're coming forward from country areas, and they're all telling the same story, that the child abuse is going on through high-level networks connected with politicians, lords, judges,
Psychiatrists.
senior police officers and psychiatrists.
And doctors.
Yep. And when they investigate and they produce the evidence, it is the police themselves, of course, with the connivance of the Crown Prosecution Service, that shut down the investigations. It's outrageous.
Thank you very much, Brian, and the wonderful Brian Garish. And when they come out, maybe we'll do another little bit with you later, Brian. God bless you. Hello, mate. What's your name? James. Is Michelle about?
She's gone now.
Okay, so we're with the Sky reporters here, there to report on Ryan Giggs. This is James, he's a cameraman. I told James the story of Hollie Greig, and I spoke to a lady called Michelle. And are you going to be doing anything on this Hollie Greig thing today?
I don't think we are today.
Why is that though, James?
Because we're doing the Ryan Giggs story.
But Ryan Giggs is not here. They're all out there now. They're all out there now.
Now listen,
I just get told press the button.
but now I've not come over here to denigrate James, but I've come over here to show you, the people, what's Sky. We've given them all the information. It's not down to James, he's a cameraman. We gave it to the equivalent to the producer, Michelle, who was here. She took some notes.
She was interested.
She was interested, but your cameras have got to
But
be
they're
over
here
there.
now. No disrespect, but that's the difference between the way
I know.
we film and the way you
Yeah,
film.
absolutely.
You just said you're just here and told to push a button.
Yeah.
No disrespect
Yeah.
to you, it's your job, but it's your bosses.
So,
They're here now.
James-
They're
James-
shouting.
My hand too hard, broke it.
He broke his hand.
Yeah.
James is not a bad guy. James is, yet again, like the police, a lion led by donkeys.
Yeah.
God bless you, James.
Good luck anyway,
kids to
James.
And he's got kids to feed. I'll give you that, mate. Are you aware of the Hollie Greig case? No, I'll have a look. Check it out, bruv.
Nice one, Bill. Here with me, how are you doing?
Oh, that's all right. What's your name? Michael. Hello, Michael. What do you think, Michael?
I'm supposed to be interviewing you.
Oh, well, you didn't say that, did you? I don't do interviews, Michael.
Yeah, you do. I see you all the time.
Okay, anyway, so here we are. We're outside the Royal... Here we are. We're outside the Royal Courts of Justice. Hang on, let me wait a little. Okay, yeah. Okay, here we are. We're outside the Royal Courts of Justice, and we're waiting for Anne and Hollie Greig to come out to see if they've been granted leave to appeal against the fact that Hollie Greig is being what they want to. The institution wants to take her into care because they're saying that the exposure and the campaign concerning her case, her outrageous rapes by members of the Scottish institution. We're talking about lawyers, we're talking about politicians, we're talking about doctors, right across the board. And they're trying to hush this case up, and it is coming out. So, will that do you?
That's good. What do you think about Robert Greene as locked up?
Robert Greene. Well, we've got Robert Greene. He's languishing in prison at the moment because Robert is the person. Robert Greene is a very, very brave man and very tenacious man as well, who has stuck with this case through thick and thin, and he is on a mission. And Robert Greene has earned so much respect from people. If you've got children, Robert Greene is a hero. Robert Greene is in fact one of the superheroes that you will maybe one day have to protect your children. So you've got to get up off your chairs. We're not interested in armchair activists. You've got to come out on the street. You've got to get in touch with your members of parliament, and you've got to say, why isn't the Hollie Greig case being portrayed in the national media? Okay. Anything else, Chris?
Why is this a personal issue for you, please?
It's a personal issue for me because not only as a filmmaker, as a documentary filmmaker, my whole family were brought up and abused in the institutional care systems of this country. Whether that be sexual abuse, psychological abuse, or just violence, manipulation, parent and family alienation. That's why I'm here. That's why I stepped out of the film world and came into documentary filmmaking. Because unfortunately, though I did have contacts in the film world, many stars are well aware of what's going on, and they will only come and do their bit if it gets on the national media. So we are citizens media, and we, don't edit this to pieces, Chris. Okay. And if I can just say, we've got Sky here, and Sky are here. Even though this crowd has gathered, we've got 2 Sky crews here. And I gave a lady called Michelle, who is their stand-in producer, all the information. She took the details, and their cameras have not moved from over there. You can't see them.
They've got a different...
That was a dodgy pan, Chris, because the cars are in the way. Trust me, Sky's
great. Okay, but I heard there was some musician that was interested in it and was spreading emails.
Well, there may be. I understand that Bono's interested in it now, but what you've got to look at, the Live Aid concert, and many of those artists went in and performed at the Live Aid concerts to heighten their profile and their record sales. Yay! But unfortunately, downloading has put a block on that.
Yeah, and
next question.
You need to see a film called Star Suckers.
Star Suckers. Okay. What's your name? What's your name, bro?
Joe.
Joe, you're an Irishman?
Yeah.
What part are you from?
From the south.
From the south of Ireland. And how do you feel about the abuse that was going on in Ireland, and still to this day they're covering it up?
Absolutely disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting. It's outrageous, isn't it? Okay. And that's the Catholic Church. And I don't know if you know, I've been repeating this all over the place for many years now, that it was only up to 2 years ago that the age of consent in the Vatican City was just 12. Now, in the Vatican City, the only people that are allowed to stay there are the priests and the altar boys. 800 priests and altar boys. I think you've got to be 12 to be an altar boy, Joe. And now they've just put the age of consent up to 14 to match the rest of Italy, which is still too low.
One other question, Bill. It's good that we're all united again, isn't it? As a child.
Well, unfortunately, Chris,
Michael,
all these horrors that are going on are bringing people together. Unfortunately, it takes these kind of horrors to bring us together. And there are many activists and there are many organisations that we have infighting from all parties, and we have to do away with that. Okay. You cannot, you don't see the police bashing each other up, do you? No, they come and bash us up. And if I can just say, as far as the police are concerned, there are many good police officers that have children and they are starting to turn. And I've been talking to many of these police officers and they are saying they're not allowed to give interviews and they'll talk to you on the street, but if you've got a camera and a press pass as I have, they won't talk and they're not allowed to talk. And that is making a lot of police officers are fuming over this, because when it comes to child abuse and they are fathers, it makes it look like they are part of the ring, and they don't want that, and we don't want that either. And all you police officers out there that you see this, and I know a lot of you watch all these films, you are being put into the same pot as the institutions that were raping people like Hollie Greig, and Hollie Greig is here as an example for us. She is not the only one.
Can I also say though that the Catholic Church, the paedophilia in Ireland is absolutely horrendous, but it's also been used to attack the good side of the Catholic Church, and there is a good side of the Catholic Church. So I was brought up Catholic, and there is an attack on the Catholic Church. This is absolutely communist. It's a socialist agenda, and I'm not saying it isn't true that what's happened. It is absolutely horrendous, but it is also being used.
Well, Joe, if I can just
with the police.
Joe, if I can just interrupt you, I and my family, we were all abused by the Catholic Church. Okay, so there are many people outside that are part of the Catholic Church, like who go to pray for Jesus, are friends of Jesus, but we don't follow his doctrine.
Absolutely.
We don't follow what Jesus is talking about.
Right.
Because if we did follow what Jesus was talking about, then we would not have got rid of those people outside the house of God, i.e. St Paul's Cathedral. And violence was used. And the church knew that violence was going to be used to eject those people, and they allowed it to happen, John. Sir, are you aware of the Hollie Greig case? No, not the Hollie Greig case. No. She's a Down syndrome child. Are you aware of the Hollie Greig case, sir?
No, I'm not, no.
Oh, right. Well, all these people are here. Hollie Greig is a Down syndrome girl that was abused by members of the institutions, police officers, lawyers, doctors, etc., up in Scotland. And the guy, Robert Greene, who was trying to expose the case, is now in prison in Scotland. And Hollie Greig and her mother are in here today, and because up in Scotland they want to take Hollie into care. She's 32 years now, old, sir, and they want to take her into care, take her away from her mother, because they're saying the campaign that is exposing the outrageous abuse against her is damaging her.
That sounds bad. Take any child away from the mother, yes.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. And I would just like to say that there are many campaigners that do they denigrate the law to a degree, because they say that you're not doing what you should be doing. But I would just like to say to you both that we don't, at High Match Films, we don't put you all in that boat, and we think there are many good men and women in doing your jobs, and I hope I've just met two.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. People, the police are conspicuous in their absence.
Free Robert Greene! Justice for Hollie! Free Robert Greene! Justice for Hollie!
Give us a bib for St Paul! Get rid of the paedophiles! Justice for Hollie! Free Robert Greene!
Justice for Hollie!
Report our story!
Justice for Hollie! Justice for Hollie! Free Robert Greene!
No, the people that are nonsense.
Are you with Sky, mate?
We're making ourselves look press.
All right, don't shout.
No, he's just said we're making ourselves look press.
No, we're not press, mate. We're trying to get you lot to report this. You're out here. Are you waiting for Ryan Giggs, mate?
Justice for Hollie!
Okay, yeah, I know you're doing the story, and we're fighting against child abuse. We're fighting against child abuse. You the report. Let's keep it up. You report.
Free Robert Greene!
You know about the Hollie Greig story.
I don't know about
Right, so this is Sky. They will not report it. Will you report
I don't
it?
work for Sky News.
You don't work for Sky News. This man just told me he's with Sky.
He's a freelancer. Sometimes
He's a freelancer, so you're not with Sky.
No, I don't work for Sky
Who
News.
do you work for?
I work for Channel 5.
Channel 5. Will you report our story?
I don't know because I don't know anything about it, but I'm quite happy to go and have a look on the website when I
Okay,
get back.
great, okay. Let's go to Sky. We're going to Sky.
Justice for Hollie! Free Robert Greene!
This is Sky.
Free Robert Greene!
Will you report?
Justice for Hollie!
Will you report our story? Will you report this story? These are Sky reporters, camera people. Will you report your story? All you people at Sky, these people work for you. They will not report it. They're waiting for Ryan Giggs. Let's go round.
Justice
For Hollie! Free Robert Greene!
Justice for Hollie! Free Robert Greene! Justice for Hollie! Free Robert Greene!
Give us a feel of the atmosphere in court. You just come out. What was happening?
Like devil's advocate. They looked quite uneasy that there was so much attention being drawn to it. One bloke in there said that he's never seen so many state lawyers on one of these cases.
Yeah.
So,
What was the atmosphere like?
Uneasy. I mean, you know.
So they
you
broke
can
for
tell,
lunch?
You can tell that they're going to pull out all their tricks and stuff.
Okay, and we've been here and we've been walking across, just like the Beatles do, walking across the zebra crossing. The police aren't here. The police drove past. I offered one of the police officers a card. He wouldn't take it. I said, have you got children? Let's go to Lou. Lou, give me the atmosphere in the courtroom.
Tension. It was very tensioned. I mean, all support for Hollie and Anne.
Yeah.
But it was very, very tense.
Yeah.
And then,
How
of
does
course,
Anne look?
Anne looks well. She seems in good spirits.
And how's Hollie?
She seems well as well. As we said hello, we had a little chat with Anne this morning when we got here. They're in good spirits, and all they need is just the support. That's all that's needed is the support, and more and more people to be aware of what's going on.
And that is the object of what we're all here for.
That's what we're doing, and that's why the video was made. And
okay. Now, what we've been saying, we've got 2 or 3 Sky camera crews here, and they will not report
And they have got
this.
absolutely no interest.
So that's why we've done our little demonstration.
Right, okay.
Our demonstration.
Have we been over and spoken
Can
to
I just say, yes, we have been over. Our demonstration against Sky is because they will not report.
No,
Sky, you will not report. You're on the spot. You've got 3 camera teams here, and they're all refusing to report on this case. Outrageous. Shame on you.
Law.com.
Okay, www.stephenfieldlaw.com and
His name is Stephen Field, and he's at 1 Pumpton Court.
yeah, you go on, you do it.
He's at 1 Pumpton Court, onepumptoncourt.co.uk is his email address. If Robert Greene would like to contact him, he will do it for pro bono.
Can I just get a shot of that and all?
Yeah.
Hang on a sec.
Rolling.
Okay, here we are. We're outside the Royal Courts of Justice, and we're with Paul Warburton, who's a barrister, and he's just come out of court. He's been listening to what's going on with Hollie Greig, and give us your information, whatever you've got, please, Paul.
Well, I'm a peripheral supporter, so I'm not really involved in this campaign as a main supporter of this campaign. I've just come along to give some support today in terms of being here and just encouraging people.
Yeah.
I was running a parallel campaign with Robert Greene somewhere else during the general election. He was running a campaign up in Scotland. I was running a campaign in East London as an independent candidate.
Right.
Primarily on the basis of 9/11.
Right.
And I'm saying to people that you've been taken to the cleaners.
Yeah.
You've been lied to. And if you understand what happened, if you really understand what happened on 9/11, you would want to do a lot of reshuffling of everything else, because we've just been taken to the cleaners as a country. So what concerns me is that a as a society, we're just going down the wrong road, and we need to start looking at everything. So this is just one example of it.
Yeah. The Hollie Greig case.
Yes. 9/11 is another example, but we need to look at a whole raft of things of how we do business in the country. So it doesn't matter who you are, like whether you're a bus driver or taxi driver, minicab driver, whatever kind of work you do, nurse, teacher. If you come home each evening and you're shot to pieces because you're tired because you've done a decent day's work, what you want to know is that the media's doing their job properly. The government's doing their job properly, and the courts are doing their job properly. And what we're beginning to find out with these campaigns is that they're not doing this, and the church as well. I go to church, and they're not doing their jobs properly. They're not speaking out and saying, okay, we are here as public representatives to protect you people and to speak out for what's right.
Yeah.
And this stuff, a lot of this stuff, it's a gloss, it's a facade.
Yeah.
And all of us, we need to start digging deep. I know we're all busy with other different things, but we need to start digging deep about what's really going on in this world and start saying, okay, I don't like it, and I don't like it for my kids, and you think about future generations, you're thinking, well, this doesn't look very good. We need to start doing a lot of work on this.
Yeah. What do you feel about the Hollie Greig case, the way it's gone? We've got Robert Greene, he's in prison. Now they're trying to take Hollie away from her mum, saying that the campaign to expose the case is damaging Hollie. That's basically the crux of it.
Yeah, my personal take on those two things, Bill, is this, that Robert's a very dangerous guy to have around, because if he's pressing the wrong buttons, or if he's simply asking questions, let's just put it at a neutral level, he's simply asking lots of difficult questions.
Yeah.
There are certain people that don't want those questions even looked at, let alone answered.
Is that the real reason he's in prison?
That's just my personal opinion.
Well, that's not bad coming from a barrister. That's good.
Because I'm a peripheral supporter of this campaign. I'm not speaking with any expertise, but what I know of it so far, because I was following Robert with his campaign a couple of years ago, there is a case to answer there. That what Robert is saying, that needs to be looked at by the police. The first thing we need is a proper independent police investigation. Well, I'm not interested in all this stuff about like who buys, who drinks, and who gets horses and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
That's rubbish.
Yeah.
That's not police force as far as I'm concerned. That's just like having you're just paying people off if you're doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
You might
Paul,
be able to do that.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Paul. Okay, so here we are. We're still outside the court, and Brian Garish has just come out, and so has Louise Collins. And what's happening, Brian?
Well, the judges the three judges have made a decision. They have not upheld the appeal, and basically they've put the case straight back into the family court system. The judges were highly critical of what Anne had and had not done, and it was extraordinary to watch three judges leave the courtroom for about 7 minutes. And then return to give a judgment which lasted at least 40 minutes. And the opinion of the public who've been present today is what we witnessed was a show trial, and basically a preordained outcome was just delivered to the public. The other clue to this is that there's been a lot of people inside that court, all very quiet, well behaved, talking quietly. No problem at all. When we came out of the hearing, suddenly there's a lot of security people, and when we talked to one of those individuals, he said he'd been asked to come down, and obviously they were sent because it was a preordained outcome against Anne and Hollie. So
Brian, what you're saying is they went out for 7 minutes and they came back and gave their judgment over 45 minutes. What you're saying is that they had already made their mind up even before today.
Of course, absolutely obvious. It was theatre. You cannot go through quite a detailed case where a lot of information is being presented and discussed. You cannot then go out and come to a decision which takes you 40 minutes to deliver.
Right.
It must be preordained.
So in layman's terms,
it's a show trial. It was a show trial in order to actually bring the mother and the daughter back into the family court system, where already the state has said that that the girl is vulnerable, the state needs to protect the girl, and of course why is the state saying they need to protect the girl? Because ultimately the state wants to shut her up.
Okay.
In that court today, the central issue of the abuse, the rape and abuse of this little girl was not addressed. No, a young lady. It was not addressed.
I believe that one of the perpetrators, the alleged perpetrators, was in court.
Yes, in the first session before lunch. We believe that's the case.
Okay.
Yeah. I can only say believe that's the case.
Okay.
But if you actually analyse what has happened here, of course there's no jury. We have 3 judges clearly setting out to support a fellow judge. That is obvious. And it wasn't just the appeal is not upheld. The judge was highly critical of the family and what they have tried to do to protect Hollie at the end of the day.
Okay, Brian, I know it's early days, but what would be your advice to the people that are watching this? What can we all do? What can we all do to help Hollie, to help Robert Greene, and to help Anne?
Unless the public of this country wake up in sufficient numbers to get behind this case and to say, no, we are not having the abuse of children condoned by the courts, unless we get people in vast numbers to stand up and be counted, this court case sets a precedent that the state can take any child from anybody without any evidence or other cause. We are very, very close to a Soviet system where children can simply be taken away, and if the parents dare to complain, they will be put in psychiatric units, as the mother has already been. And the fact that today with this case there's no media, there is no BBC, there are no cameras, tell you that in Britain 2012 we are watching a judicial system which is utterly corrupt.
Running amok.
And I am going to use this occasion to say that John Hemming MP has been brave enough to stand up on a stage in public and be filmed saying that in his opinion as an MP, the family courts are utterly corrupt, and he has called for the head of the Family Law Division to stand down. So now we have MPs admitting that the judicial system in this country is not only corrupt, many of us are now totally convinced that it is so corrupt it will act to protect paedophiles, provided they are people of status in society. If you are somebody at the bottom end of the social spectrum and you are caught being a paedophile, the state will throw everything against you. If you are at the upper echelons and you are hidden amongst the senior police, judiciary, military, whatever, the state will protect you.
Brian, if I could just interrupt you, when you was talking about the BBC, ITV, etc., the national media not reporting this story, what I have to tell you is that there were 3 Sky News teams outside. They're waiting for Ryan Giggs. They would not, even with all these people there, they refused to report this.
Yeah.
So I'd like to just back up what you just said. The national media, they are not putting this across, and many other cases, Brian.
Well, what we've got to do now is start asking the questions of the media. It's not enough to say the BBC will not report. We need to say who are the people in the BBC who are stopping this. We need their names, we need to know who they are, and we need to bring them into the public domain. Let's not try and expose an organisation blandly called the BBC. Let us identify the people who are protecting the paedophiles by not reporting what's going on.
Well, the BBC, Brian, you know, risk of teaching my granny how to suck eggs here, they are taking £3.4 billion from the licence payers of this country every year, and they do not represent us, they represent a minority. And I suggest that the BBC, if you don't pay your Sky bill, they close you down. If you don't pay your television licence, they take you to court.
Yeah.
That is state-run TV, and that brings us back to the communism that you were talking to, that seems to be practising, and all of us people in this country, they are doing something to us that is taking away our freedom of speech, and there are good people still here. Well, you've got them around you at the moment, Brian.
Bill, the thing I will say is that the attack is on all of us. It doesn't matter what status you are, it doesn't matter whether you're professional or unemployed, it doesn't matter whether you are black, white, Muslim, Christian. This state is now attacking its own people. and it is obvious that people in Parliament not only know what's going on, they are part of the child abuse system. We have recently written to Sarah Tether, Families and Children's Minister, and we asked a simple question. When it says in your responsibilities that you are responsible for marketing and commissioning of children's services, we simply ask, what does that mean? It sounds like commercial exploitation of children. She will not answer the question. She has not answered a freedom of information request. She has gone silent. And let's not forget, I'm not now talking about Conservatives or Labour, we're talking a Liberal Democrat MP who is hiding to cover up her involvement with what is happening with children. We know from experts amongst the public here that Kent County Council has spent over £100,000 effectively trafficking British children out of the country. We know that the total amount of money that barristers and law firms are making from children's cases is about £20 billion a year.
Unbelievable.
This is massive. And if anybody says to me, David Cameron does not know what's going on, he absolutely knows.
Absolutely. Well, can I interrupt you again? I actually had captured, if you like, Nick Clegg just before the election, and I said to Nick Clegg, what are you going to do about institutional paedophile rings that are operating in this country now? He said, I don't know what you mean by institutional.
Absolutely, because they will deny everything. They cannot look at the evidence, because if they look at the evidence, they're hung by their own petard.
Okay, get this guy.
Here we come.
Okay, God bless you, Brian. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you,
welcome,
Brian.
welcome.
Thank you,
Can I just say, welcome to the Gestapo. Here we have the general public being thrown out of their own court. It is extraordinary, isn't it? Extraordinary.
Yeah, all these people here, and now we have 3 officers. Okay, thank you. Hey, let's hear it with Brian Gary. Lil, back here, back and forth.
Anne and Hollie Greig and Robert Greene.
Well done, Brian.
Me. So can you repeat that?
And of course, can we hear it for Hollie Greig and Brian Gary and Robert Greene and Hollie Greig? And shame on you! Lil, we rolling? Are you okay, darling? Okay. You can say a few words for us?
Hello, Hollie.
Okay, here we are with Anne and Hollie. They just come out of court. You can hear the applause that's going on. What's happening, Anne?
Oh, well, back at the court of protection.
Yeah. So they're sending you back there?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, not the best, but
Yeah.
we've got to fight them one way or another. So
Yeah.
we've got to do it this way.
And you've been fighting them, and
Yeah.
you're going to carry on fighting them because she's worth it.
Yeah.
And we love you. You know that. You see all the Hollie. You see all these people. All these people. They're all here for you, darling, because they love you. You understand? And Robert and your mum. Okay, and we're going to do everything we can for you.
Don't worry about the
Okay, baby. All right. So, shall we leave it at that? Short and sweet. Okay, we're going to leave it at that. There we go. Bye. Bye, Hollie. See you again, all right? Have a lovely evening, guys.
Mel, you're so cute. So emotional. Anyway, I'm so dying because I was the tea or the beer still.
We love you. She's amazing. We need justice for this girl. This is wrong. It's not right that she is not getting justice. Support Hollie Greig. Google Hollie Greig. Google Hollie Greig and make something happen. Save your child and save these children. We need it now.